Hello, this is Syrone Campbell, and this is 6 Minutes with Syrone Campbell, Segment 2. Last time I spoke with you, we crossed the hurdle of accepting things we cannot see. The power of the invisible world in our lives, and how that will lead to understanding God. So let's go further into this to understand what is meant here. Certainly, the power of the invisible world has dramatic effect on our lives continually on a daily basis from within our bodies and from outside of us as well. From photons of light enhancing vision to UV waves creating free radicals in our bodies doing a certain amount of damage to our DNA. Here we should make a distinction between things that we cannot detect, that are being beyond our sensory resolution, that may appear with visible aids, such as an electron microscope, and those that perhaps will never appear to us, as they elude the structure of the mathematical space in which we live. Not to creep you out, so there is other credible talk of this concept, referring to the Higgs boson and the postulate of string theory. Basically, I am referring to things so infinitesimally small that is no longer considered as matter. Consider that even the tiniest pre-matter, the tiniest parts of an atom, by natural phenomena, has a resistance to an opposite. This would not be true within the concept of something considered less than matter or beyond matter. The laws of nature would not apply. Having no resistance means having the ability to truly permeate or pass through intact and unimpeded. Quantum mechanics, or quantum theory, has given us a grounding to wrap our minds around such an idea and no longer harbor extreme doubts. If we could even see the barely visible microbes and molecules that fly around us and through us constantly, it would freak us out so badly that we would not be able to function adequately. A vector is a containment of power with a direction, such as a solar flare. We know that there are vectors that are visible and those that are invisible. A vector such as that fits the parameters described earlier would be considered a spirit, if indeed it derived from a source that was living. Let us all take a deep breath. I am really not trying to be too sciencey or too ridiculous. Let's take fear, for example. Fear derives from a living source. You may create your own fears, emotionally felt for sure. And emotion comes from within you. So while fear may be associated with your emotions, a psychophysiological state, fear is often generated from an outside source that is emanated, a power, perhaps in your direction. In that case, we see how it is a vector. If a fear is generated from an animal or person directed outward, it is also fitting in the category of a spirit. It's just that the word spirit has had all sorts of bad connotations or bad history and baggage. How then does this lead to knowing about God? Those of us that do not have a lot of religious faith and require some good old-fashioned rationale and support by reason, consider here. The way our brains work is the way we have taught it. We have been predominantly bivalent thinkers, either or, black or white, exist or not exist. We can do little else than to suppose the universe always existed or came about somehow. Lately, within this century, we were offered the Big Bang Theory as to how this universe came to be. Therefore, we are guided through the path that the universe exploded into existence from nothing. For the sake of argument, let's go with that. So then, if the universe came to be, we are led to believe that this came about with a big bang. I will not explain baby, as it is extant in the literature. However, it is for sure not necessarily true. Let us examine. Just before the Big Bang, some universe or something had been shrinking and concentrating itself to such an extent that it was no longer self-contained and exploded outward. What was that? What was it that was concentrating itself? Vectors of pre-matter, perhaps? What? Proponents of Big Bang want us to believe that something arrived from nothing, from no thing, no source. Not likely, but a non-matter source causing matter is possible and likely. If the source were a non-matter vector, then it would have been a spirit vector. So what spirit source vector could have existed before anything else existed? I just believe that it is impossible that something arose from no thing at all, and prefer to believe that something must have existed before matter existed. And now that science itself has given us a grounding for this concept through quantum physics, it suddenly becomes rational and easy to understand. Label and call it what you must. This existence came about by God, the living spirit that existed prior to no thing. I will note that the sequences that follow upon a Big Bang theory are more likely plausible. P.S. The new creation theory does not fit these understandings. The new creation theory has limited itself to the world being 4,000 to 6,000 years old and throwing dinosaurs under the bus. This is all I wish to say for now, until my next segment. Thank you much. Let me know what you think of what I said today at syronecampbell.wordpress.com.